All right, so let's get right into it. When you think of Charlie Chaplin, you probably picture the little tramp, right? The bowler hat, the cane, the funny walk. But behind all that comedy, there was this incredibly sharp mind, and he was taking on some of the biggest, scariest forces of his time. Today, we're going to break down Charlie Chaplin, the man versus the machine.
For so long, that's what everyone called him, the world's greatest comedian. I mean, the guy was a genius at physical comedy. He could make literally millions of people laugh without ever saying a single word. But what if that's only half the picture? What if his real gift wasn't just about making us laugh, but about making us think? We're going to see how Chaplin was actually one of the most courageous social critics of the entire 20th century.
Okay, so our first stop is the factory floor. We're diving into his 1936 masterpiece, Modern Times, and his incredible takedown of the industrial machine.
Let's just focus on one absolutely brilliant scene. So Chaplin's tramp character, he's just trying to sneak a quick, quiet smoke break in the restroom. A tiny moment of peace for himself. But then, bam, this huge video screen flickers on and his boss's giant face is staring him down, yelling at him to get back to work. Now, this isn't just a simple gag. Not at all. This one moment is like a masterclass in social commentary. Chaplin is showing us the dark side of all that industrial progress. You've got constant monitoring, this total erosion of any personal freedom, and really the dehumanization of workers, all in the name of efficiency and prosperity. And you have to see how he sets it up visually. It's so clever. The boss is this massive, disembodied face. He's not even a person. He's just a symbol of corporate power and total control. And then you have the tramp, small, powerless, and a total victim of the very technology that was supposed to be making life better. And this really gets to the core of what Chaplin was trying to say. In a system like this, the worker stops being a person. Their individuality, their free time, their basic freedom to just be, it's all completely sacrificed for the sake of productivity. But Chaplin didn't stop with the factory. This whole idea of the dehumanizing machine, well, it evolved. Just 4 years later, in 1940, he went after an even bigger, more dangerous target, the political machine of fascism, in his film The Great Dictator. So in this one, Chaplin plays the dictator Adenoid Hinkle, who is, a very thinly veiled parody of Adolf Hitler. And one of the most iconic scenes is Hinkle at a public rally where he gives these unbelievably intense speeches that just whip the crowd into an absolute frenzy. But here is the absolute genius of it. The speech is complete gibberish. It's just a bunch of harsh, angry, German-sounding nonsense. Chaplin knew that the words themselves didn't matter. It was all about the feeling, the raw emotion, the aggressive performance.
What he's doing here is basically laying out the propaganda playbook for the entire world to see. Step 1, manipulate people's emotions. Just forget about rational thought. Step 2, use all the theater of power, the giant flags, the uniforms, the sharp gestures, to look all powerful. And step 3, use mass media to just pound that ideology into everyone's heads over and over again.
And Chaplin makes it terrifyingly clear that this isn't just talk. Hinkle's hateful, nonsensical shouting directly leads to the persecution of minority groups in the movie. He shows exactly how this kind of propaganda creates real victims in the real world. Okay, so we've got the industrial machine on one hand and the political machine on the other. So what's the connection? Well, this is where you see the true scope of Chaplin's vision. He's showing us two very different systems with one single terrifying warning. And right here is where Chaplin's thinking becomes so powerful. He saw this scary parallel. It doesn't matter if it's a factory boss demanding more output or a dictator demanding total loyalty, the end result is exactly the same. Your humanity gets stripped away and you become nothing more than a cog in the machine. I mean, just look at how this all lines up. The way people become like robots in modern times, that directly reflected the shock of the new machine age. And Heinkel's crazy speeches in The Great Dictator, that was a mirror of what was really happening with the rise of dictators in Europe. Chaplin wasn't just off in Hollywood making movies. He was documenting the biggest crises of his time. But here's the thing about Chaplin. He doesn't just show us the horror and then leave us there. After dragging us through the worst of the machine, he ends The Great Dictator with one of the most hopeful and timeless messages in the history of film, a final plea for all of humanity. So in this amazing twist, the Jewish barber, who is also played by Chaplin and looks exactly like Hinkle, is mistaken for the dictator. He's pushed up to a microphone in front of the whole world, and instead of spouting hate, He speaks from the heart with this incredible message of hope.
It is just one of the most famous speeches ever put on film. He looks right into the camera and says, "You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men." It's this powerful rejection of everything the factory and the fascist state represent. It's a call to arms, to reclaim what makes us human.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last really big question. Chaplin's machines were the dehumanizing forces of his era, runaway industrialization and fascism. But now, almost a century later, his warning feels more urgent than ever. So you have to ask yourself, what are the machines in our world today?